Hi, Chuck Woodbury with RVTravel.com. You know, most RVers know that you keep your black tank, your black holding tank, that's your sewer tank, closed when you're at a campground and hooked up. But what a lot of RVers don't know is that they should also keep their gray tank closed. That's the sink and the shower. I recently had the opportunity to talk to Doug Schwartz with Drainmaster, who's an expert on waste management. He studied it for years, the science of it. And here's what Doug has to say about why you should keep your gray tank closed when you're hooked up, as well as your black tank.
The gray tank in itself, as water drops from the top of the tank, all the inlets to the sewer from the plumbing goes into the holding tank from the top. And as that water drops into the tank, it splashes if the tank is empty. And so as it splashes, the rest of the water goes out, the scum lays on the bottom of the tank, and it tends to build up. And if you leave your tanks open for an extended period of time, you have air moving through there, the scum laying on the bottom of the tank dries, and then all you have is a little stream where the water hits and runs down into the drain. It also puts a coating on the inside of the hose as it's going out to the sewer, because all that scum gets bled off and only water is going down the drain. If you keep your tanks closed, and they fill 2/3 full, all of that scum that builds up on the top of the water will, at that point, when you open the valve, will come and create a vortex in the middle of the water, and most of that scum off of the top as the tank drains will drain down. You've seen it like Drano running down the drain. And that's why keeping the gray closed at all times and only dump it when it's 2/3 full is the recommended way to do that.
And because of all this buildup, the real disadvantage to that, or one of them, is the odors that can be produced. Is that right?
That's correct. The odors in the gray tank, as many RVers will testify, the gray can smell worse than the black ever smelled. And that's because if you ever take a P-trap down from underneath your sink, if you smell it, believe me, you want to be prepared and sitting down, because it'll knock you down.
Yeah.
It's really foul. And so that's what builds up in your holding tank.
And then the other thing would be that if your gray tank is open, then you're also can pick up odors from, I mean, you got a direct line right into the sewer.
You
right?
can, and RV parks are vented. All of the sewer systems have a vent. You probably noticed a big standpipe in certain areas in the RV park. Well, when people leave their gray tank open, they create an imbalance in the system the way it was designed. And RV park owners would love everybody to keep them closed until they need to dump their holding tanks for that very reason, because that imbalance will, as you walk around in the afternoon or first thing in the morning, you'll notice this odor in the RV park. And it's because somebody in the next row is probably dumping their holding tanks. The air is taking the path of least resistance, which may be right up through your sewer into your gray tank and out the vent stack. And that's where that comes from. So keeping your tanks closed until you need to empty them does a good job from an internal cleaning standpoint, and also puts a better balance in the RV park as people are using the facility.
And the last point, and we're going to cover this in another video, is that creatures can come up out of the sewer and can get into your tanks.
The holding tanks and sewer systems are very, very high in protein, and animals and insects and all kinds of things grow in there. And the last thing you want to have is an open highway, an invitation for those elements to get into your private space.
And I know in another video we're going to talk about one woman who had heard some banging down below, and it happened to be a certain type of disgusting rodent. Is that right?
That is exactly right.
Yeah.
And it took a few days to figure out what was going on, and then a lot of work to get rid of it.